Hey, welcome back to our channel. Today, I am very excited to talk to you about a program that we use quite frequently within our design firm called Prome AI. We are going to be specifically talking about the sketch rendering tool in Prome today, and we use it specifically for rendering our 2D AutoCAD elevations as well as our 3D SketchUp images. And I'm talking about specifically the line drawings. So in SketchUp, it may or may not have materials applied, like basic materials applied. Obviously, in AutoCAD, 2D elevation is not going to have anything applied. It's just a black and white image. But basically what this does is it allows us to be able to show our clients a visual image that is fully rendered without us having to either spend the time rendering it in-house or sending it off to a rendering company, taking a couple days and a lot of money to be able to do this, just to get to a consensus of whether the client actually likes it or not. Sometimes we do this just to explore materiality and just different design styles for a client. Other times we have actually landed on the materials and we are doing this to finalize the design and show a client what it actually looks like with all of the materials selected and, within a space. So lots of great options in terms of what the capabilities are. It's done through a mixture of prompting as well as like a visual selection of different design styles. And it basically allows AI to do the heavy lifting for us and shave hours and hours off of the design process, which is a great time saver, not only for us, but also for the clients in terms of them not having to pay for hours of our design time just to nail something down. Before we dive in, if you like this content, if you want to see more of it, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Whether you're an interior designer, an architect, or just someone really interested in learning about these AI tools for fun, our goal is to teach you all about how to harness AI as a tool to help expedite the design process and really work smarter. So let's jump in. In today's video, I am going to walk you through a few different scenarios for rendering in Prome AI. For those not familiar with Prome AI, it is a fantastic tool that has really a wide variety of AI capabilities to it. Today, we're specifically going to be using the sketch rendering tool alongside the erase and replace tool. Also, I'd like to mention, if you're new to Prome AI and if you're looking to sign up and give it a little test drive, if you use the code ETCH9, that's ETCH9, it will give you 10% off a standard membership on either a monthly or a yearly membership plan. So be sure to use that at checkout. And there is a link and a reference code in the description of the video as well for you. So in our firm, we use a mixture of architectural drawing tools, but predominantly we work in AutoCAD, from everything to floor plans, interior elevations, reflected ceiling plans, and really all of our construction drawings. But occasionally a client will need a little bit more of a visual tool for reference to see how the space feels or functions. And in those cases, we'll import our CAD files into SketchUp and create a 3D model to help them visualize their home. So what we're able to do in Prome is basically take that screenshot of either a two-dimensional image, such as an AutoCAD elevation of a wall. This would typically be a wall depicting cabinetry details, such as like a kitchen cabinet wall or maybe a bathroom vanity wall, maybe even a fireplace wall with cabinets flanking the fireplace. And it allows us to basically add color, texture, and different details that a standard 2D elevation would not. So that's what we're going to show you today in this first round of a rendering mockup. We're going to show you a kitchen range wall, essentially taking it from a basic 2D line drawing and bringing it to life through Prome AI's sketch rendering tool. Now, I do want to note something. We will be using version 2 today of the sketch rendering tool. Prome recently launched version 3, which is basically just a more advanced model, specifically when it comes to improved text comprehension. That's not usually something that we as designers need. So it has fewer rendering modes available than version 2 does. And that's what we specifically use it for. So for right now, as of the end of December 2024, we are using sketch rendering tool for interior design version 2. So just my personal recommendation, obviously feel free to use version 3, give it a test drive, drop in the comments below what you think about it. I'd love to hear. But as of right now, version 2 is what we are using. So I think we are ready to dive in, take a look at what that sketch rendering tool looks like and how you can use it. So here we go. Okay, so this is what the home screen looks like and where you'll begin. And what you'll want to do is click the sketch rendering button. And once you do that, you will upload your image onto the program. So you can either click the plus sign to upload your image, or you can drag and drop your image anywhere on the screen to upload it. Super easy. Then once you've got your image uploaded, you'll basically start the process of entering in a prompt and making your option selections. So in this case, I said a modern kitchen with a taupe-colored skinny shaker style cabinet, a vertical stained wood fluted vent hood above the range, a white marble backsplash with a marble shelf above. The two cabinets flanking the vent hood have black metal doors with glass inlay and the stained wood cabinet box surround, brass cabinet hardware. So then what we'll do is navigate to the style button, and we're going to select photography and realistic. This is what I select for most all of my images, as I want them to be photorealistic. And then what you want to do is select your scene button, which is right below the style button. Then we're going to go to select interior, and in this case, we're going to say kitchen, as that is what we are going to try and render today. Then we want to go to our scene elements. So whenever you go into the kitchen section right here, it's going to pull up several different element options for you. And you'll basically want to select any element that can be found within your image that you're trying to render. So in this case, I'm going to say range, hood, cabinetry, countertop, and refrigerator. Basically, this will help it understand what should be in the image. And then the next thing, the most important thing, is that we're going to select our interior style selection. So you can scroll down through the list, or you can select any of the options up here on the menu. But basically what you want to do is select whatever image closely resembles the design style in which you are trying to render. So we are going to select these two. And the next button is the environment. You can play around with that if you'd like to render your image in a certain type of day, either day, night, day, or dusk. I typically don't select anything here, but you can definitely play around with that if you'd like to. Next, we are going to select the mode. I would recommend playing around with these to see what looks best for your image. I am going to select structure. Sometimes I will adjust my creativity as well down to 20 or 30, which gives me basically more control over my image. But next we are just going to click generate and render our image. When you do this, it's automatically going to come up with 3 different images, and all you'll do is click on them to upsize them. So this is the first image, here's the second image, and this is the third image. Notice it does something really funky with the range hood here. So we are going to go in and refine our prompt to correct some of these issues. You can also revise your prompt and resubmit as many times as you need. So it's really just a trial and error, kind of a rinse and repeat process to figure out what works best for you. You'll also want to play around with your interior style as well. So see what renders best, and you can go in and adjust your interior style as many times as you need. For this, we're actually going to take it down to just 1 interior style instead of 2 so that it doesn't confuse the program. And we are going to click generate again to see what 3 new images come up with when we do this. So once your images have rendered, once again, it typically takes about just a minute or so in order to come up with your new images. But once your new images have rendered, you'll just click on them to see what comes up with it. So here's image 1, here is image 2, and here is image 3. So this is the closest image to what we're actually trying to render. So we're going to save this one. Whenever you hover over the image, you'll just click on this save button up at the top. If you need to edit, you can obviously edit your image, or you can click the down arrow to be able to save your image to your computer. All right, so that was our example of rendering a 2D AutoCAD elevation, basically just a line drawing, no materials, no nothing applied. And what we are going to do next is actually show you how to render a 3D SketchUp model. Again, very little materials applied. I don't even have a range drawn in or a sink, but we're going to basically drive the design and the elements that are going to be included within the image, the rendered image, through the scene selections, the elements that we're going to tell it that should be in there, as well as the design style, all of the same elements and prompts that we did before. So that's what we're going to show you next. I do also want to tell you that it is also acceptable to render an image in Prome AI under the sketch rendering tool. You could just pop an image. It doesn't have to be just a black and white line drawing. You could actually have an image as well. And another thing that I've done too is there is a tool, an AI tool on Prome AI, which is called the image to sketch option. And that actually turns your image that you have into a sketch. And then I've done that and then actually submitted that sketch into the sketch rendering tool. Essentially what it does is it takes out all of the predefined and predetermined parts of an image that could drive the design that maybe you're trying to steer away from. And whenever you turn it to just a black and white sketch, it basically gives you endless options in terms of how Prome AI portrays that image through the sketch rendering tool. Where something like that would be useful or helpful is maybe if you are trying to redesign a space for a client, but maybe they're just wanting to do simple things like repaint cabinetry or change the flooring, things like that. Prome is really great about essentially taking that same exact image and then just applying new materials to it. And it basically would give you multiple different options, whether you want to go dark style, light style, wood, marble, whatever it is you want to do. It basically would show that image in multiple different ways so that you could show your clients. If we just did a refresh on this space, then it's your same space, but here it is in a new light. So that's where taking the image that you have in the client's room, essentially, and then just applying new materials to it would be a benefit to you. Just another thing to think about if you guys want to play around with it. I could definitely show it in another video. If you're interested, drop that in the comments and I would be happy to show you. But we are going to dive into a 3D SketchUp model now. So here we go. Okay, so we're going to go to the sketch rendering tool again. And we're going to upload our image just like we did last time. You can either click the plus sign or you can just drag and drop your image anywhere on the screen to begin. And once we do that, we're actually going to work backwards a little bit this time. We're going to start with our style instead of going with our prompt. We're going to click the photography button just like we did last time, and we are going to click realistic in terms of the image style. I like photorealistic for my images, so we're going to start there. And next we're going to go over to our scene. So we're going to go interior, and we're going to select our kitchen for interior scene style. For our scene elements, this is where we're going to select anything that we would find within our image. So again, just select whatever is in your image. So in this case, we're going to select sink, countertop, kitchen island, refrigerator, range hood, cabinetry. And next we're going to go over to our interior style. And so you can either select from the top line of options, or you can just scroll through and select from the image style. Just, most closely find something that most closely resembles what it is that you are trying to find. So we are going to select interior modern nature and interior modern texture. You can go over to environment if you want to select what type of day it is, but again, you do not have to do that. Totally optional. We're just going to leave it blank here. Next, we're going to go down to mode, and in this case, we're going to select structure again, but I'm actually going to change my creativity down to 20. So basically being less imaginative and keeping more consistent with the actual image. So that's what we're going to do here. And next, we are going to scroll down. It gives you some more advanced options in terms of the perspective or the lighting. You can scroll through here and see that it gives you lots of different lighting options. I rarely play with this, but it is an option. You also have more detailed options and fast mode. Again, I don't do that just because I don't want to spend the extra coins. So we're going to go in here and we're going to enter in our prompt. Basically, the prompt is just giving Prome the specifics of what materials you want and where you want them to go. I try and be as specific as I can in terms of the prompting, because that's basically what lets Prome know what you are trying to portray in your image. So we are going to click generate here and see what it comes up with in terms of our new images. Usually this takes less than a minute, and we're going to take a look at our images here. So just click them to upsize them. So here's image 1. Here is image 2. Here is image 3. Definitely doing some funky things with those windows. So let's generate one more time just to see if we can get some images that are more closely aligned with what we are looking for. So just click generate. We're not going to change anything right now. Okay, so here's our 3 new images. Here's image 1. Here is image 2. Here is image 3. Still having some issues with those windows. Based on the new imagery, I am going to recommend that we go in and actually edit our prompt to try and correct some of the window issues. We're going to try and add to our original prompt, and we are going to say lots of large windows with ample natural light, a large transom window above the soffit with the vent hood, a wall of windows behind the island seating on the right wall. So we're going to go ahead and hit generate one more time to see what we get. And hopefully this gets us a little closer to what we are envisioning with those windows. Okay, so here we go. All right, so this one does give us the windows like we need. So that did correct some of our issues. That one did not on that right wall, and that one did not on the right wall. So it's understanding the transoms. It's not understanding some of the other things. So there's a little trick that we can do whenever we're rendering these things, and that is basically saving the image of the one that is actually rendering the windows properly. So what we're going to do is do a full download of this particular image where it has the windows saved properly, and we're going to use that as our reference image. So we're going to upload that as our reference image, and what that does is it basically tricks Prome into understanding that windows should be in those particular areas. That is a kind of trick of the trade right there. So if you're having trouble rendering some windows, try that. At least if you have one image that it's rendering it properly, put that in as your reference image. So now we're going to go in and actually change up our interior style and just go with something different to try and get it a little bit closer to what we are looking for, and re-render here to see what we get. So here's image 1. Some funky things on the island there. Again, some funky things with those faucets. And same here. The program now understands that the windows, based on the reference images that we provided, are where they're supposed to be. So on all 3 of these images, it actually gives us the windows where we need them. So this image looks good. We're going to use this as our reference image now, but we are going to clean this up a little bit and take care of that funky thing there on the island, some random object that it has. So what we're going to do is click that edit button. We're going to send this to the erase and replace tool. Make sure that you actually have your pop-ups turned on, because it's going to pop up into a new screen, but it's going to send it basically right over there. And what we are going to do is actually click this remove button, and notice it gives you several different options over there on the left-hand side, but we're going to click remove, and we are going to go and highlight basically that whole area there where it's got that funky thing there on the island. And we're also going to clean up that little outlet there on the back range wall. And you can make any final adjustments that you see fit before you click generate, but basically just click generate once you are done kind of selecting all of those different areas. And you'll want to actually scroll down to see the images that it is generating for you. It's a little tricky at first. It's not as intuitive as you might think, but it's going to come up with 3 new images again. So here you can see it's basically cleaned up all of those areas that we have highlighted within the erase and replace tool. That one did not do so well. Slightly different with the additional faucet at the sink, but we're going to go back to the first image. We're going to select that and save it to our computer. So just click that little save arrow guide, do a full download, which basically does a high resolution download for you. And this is what our image looks like. So now we have this beautiful, fully rendered image in place of our standard 3D SketchUp model, which is fantastic. And this is a great visual reference tool for our client to be able to see and select different materials from. And it's fantastic. Definitely drop some comments down in the comments section if you guys have any questions or just need help navigating anything else that you've found quirky or interesting in Prome. We have used a lot of the different AI tools within Prome. And if there's another one that you would like to see a video on, definitely message me. I do have one on the erase and replace tool as well as the region rendering tool, which will be coming up in the next videos that I upload. Be sure to subscribe, like this video if you like what I showed you here today and want to see more. So I hope this was helpful, and I can't wait to have you back for many more videos. So thank you guys. See you next time.